Good afternoon, guys. We just got out of the high tunnel. I did try to get you some footage from the high tunnel itself. I did that on my camera, which I did have enough space to take little bits of footage or whatever in there. But I'm not quite sure if it's going to come out. I was trying to get it to upload to my laptop, but it wasn't working. So we shall see. You're sleepy? If you nap now, then you're going to be up all night. But you probably are going to not nap right now, huh? Okay, I'm going to show you what we just did. So a couple things happened today. We got home and I noticed that a lot of the pumpkins and the... Would you like to lay down and watch a movie? Could somebody put a movie on for Nevaeh because she's sleepy? So she actually has her head in my lap. Go see Kaylee. There we go. So we got home today and I noticed that some of the squash, the tops were, the butternut squash, some of the tops were all funky. You can just pull that chair out and put it on it. And so I was like, oh no, I better get those. I think because we started the wood stove that it just got too warm or something in there. So then I was like, okay, let me check the pumpkins, and a lot of the pumpkins are getting soft. And so the pumpkins and the butternut squash I picked before, but the rest of the stuff I actually went out to the high tunnel today and we did our last picking in the high tunnel. Hopefully if I can get that uploaded, I will drop the link of that like down below. So this is where we are at. So we have these pumpkins. Remember we did the big pumpkin harvest before? This is not those pumpkins. We preserved all those pumpkins before. This is what I had left on my shelf from before. So this is not the same as the other pumpkins. We preserved those. We got, I think, over 100 quarts plus powder plus a bunch of stuff in the freezer. These are completely different pumpkins. So today we got all these turnips. Huge turnips. I'm probably going to can those, I think. I don't mind canning turnips because you can almost use them as mashed potatoes. So I'll probably can those, and those will last a day or two. Can we get it all done? Can we get this all done? Let's see if we can see all of it. Can we get this 12-foot table of produce all done in the next couple days? Today it's raining, so I'm not in the woods. Tomorrow morning it's supposed to be raining until about 1. I'm hoping to get all this situated by 1 o'clock tomorrow. So like one full day to get it situated by tomorrow. Okay, so we have our turnips. And I have chairs right here. And then I got one basket of kale there. I'll probably freeze that. I have these 2 bins. I finally picked that that's cabbage. I don't even know what it's called. It's the cabbage that you make kimchi out of. So I'm going to try to take those 2 and make those into kimchi. My husband has to go he has the day off, so he's going to go pick up pig food. He's going to get me some fish sauce and pears, and I'm going to make those 2 crates both full of kimchi. And then so there was a little bit of peas. Those peas, mostly the big ones, are going to be used just for seed, and then the other ones I'll probably throw in a stir fry. Or a lot of times they like if we just put coconut oil in a pan and kind of like fry them up crispy with a little bit of salt on them. They're pretty good. And then I have the big bowl of green beans. See how big bowls are? They're pretty big bowls. I don't know how many quarts that is, but it's pretty big bowls. So we have the green beans here, and then we have 3 heads of broccoli, which we'll probably just eat like that. And then we have these beets, and we will eat. The tops got kind of funky because of the frost, but I'll boil up these beets and just have those with supper. Carrots here. I'll probably use a lot of the carrots or those carrots in the kimchi, and I don't know that I'd have any left over because I'm doing so much kimchi. And then I have peppers here. So these will probably get strung. I have some strung. I'll show you. Let's see. You've probably seen it before. I kind of string them like that. And then I make them into red pepper sauce. Not sauce, red pepper flakes. So that will eventually make like next year's red pepper if I want to use it for like kimchi or anything like that. But I have last year's still to make this year's. So look at my poor squash. There's still plenty of good pieces in those squash. So what I need to do, oh, and then my Swiss chard. And then I'm just going to show you what the table looks like. Okay, so I think my goals for this, let's see, I think the first thing that I'll need to do is get my cabbage chopped up to make the, to set in order to do the kimchi. I'll get myself or somebody snapping beans to can those. The beets can just go in a pot for supper. We definitely have to get to those butternut squash today because those look horrendous. I'm not quite sure. I'll probably be the one to go through those because I don't want somebody to like accidentally process something that's bad. Okay, so I think I'm gonna like clear a little bit of space on the table and then I'll be back. And I am back. So obviously, as you can tell by my lighting, it is darker. It actually is like downpouring outside. So I'm just gonna update you. It's probably about 2 hours since I last was back here showing you the table full of stuff, and I'll explain where we're at this point and then go from there. So I have these two bowls. I'm taking that and I'm gonna put that into 3 bowls because those are kind of high. Into 3 bowls, and then I'm going to put salt on that and like smash them up to do the starting thing for kimchi. The pumpkins I have done absolutely nothing with except for move some into a basket because to me the butternut squash is more important because I already did can a bunch of pumpkin. I have like 100 quarts of pumpkin canned, so I don't really know what I'm doing with this pumpkin. I'm just kind of like staring at it thinking I'll be inspired, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be inspired. Okay, so I decided that I would kind of worry about the pumpkins tomorrow as well as these turnips tomorrow because um, I I won't have this is gonna go first. So sorry. So I have the Swiss chard left. I'm just gonna chop this and throw that in the freezer. Peas are going to I went through, so these are just like the little peas, and they're gonna just fry those up real quick. And the other peas are for seeds. So we had 14 jars in this area here. So the 14 jars are started in the canner, and then these are other jars here. So these ones with the lids are part of the 14, and then these other ones are getting prepped. And this is where we're at with the rest of it. So we have a bowl full. Somebody is washing some jars, and then we're working our way through this. So for tonight, we're gonna finish taking the butternut squash and we're gonna put it in jars. We're only canning the 14 quarts. It is 5 o'clock now. By the time those are done and the green beans got snapped, and that made I think 5 quarts of green beans. So by the time we do those quarts plus the green beans, I'll just add like 2 jars in with the green beans for the squash or whatever. But yeah, by the time we do that, it's going to be later by the time the canner comes up and down. So what I'll do is I'll just put like a flour sack over the top of all my jars once they're ready before I wipe the rims, before I fill them or anything like that. And then tomorrow morning, first thing, I'll take water and I'll put water in them and I'll start the canner off right away, but it'll already be prepped. So that's what I'll have prepped for tomorrow. So those will be in jars already. So tonight I'll do the Swiss chard, chop it up. I'm cooking the peas. I already cooked the beets. We are eating those with supper. I made butternut squash soup. That's for supper. And then I have a bowl full of the broccoli that they're just going to have raw with supper. So the butternut squash will be done. We filled the dehydrator here. We filled that with kale, and then we took How many quarts did you get? 6? Kale. I think she got 6 quarts of kale. We don't blanch or anything like that. We just put it in the freezer like that, and then we'll use that in smoothies later. So that's in the freezer already. And then the other kale is up in the dehydrator to make greens powder. So that is what we're doing. We'll finish that up tonight. Tomorrow morning we'll come back. We'll take a look at these turnips, try to make some decisions about the pumpkins, and start canning our butternut squash. I've never made kimchi, but I am trying. So I have 3 big bowls of this, and you guys are kind of balancing on my sewing machine, so that should be interesting. And I'm going to put salt on top of this, and then my husband is going to come back and give me some of the other ingredients, but I'll show you what I'm doing here. So no amounts forgiven. I have fermented other things. I've done sauerkraut. I did a gingered carrot before, but honestly, nobody really cared for it. But we do like sauerkraut, so we shall see. I have a mallet, but I'm going to try to just massage it with my hands first. You're trying to like bruise it and okay, what is that? When your boys put like engine additive on your table. So I'm thinking this will probably make about 4 gallons. I don't know. I still can't think what I'm going to do with all this pumpkin. I'm at the point that I want to just say, hey, let's just give it to the pigs. And I might as well do that. I'm going to actually count off what I have in the basement and see what I have for space, and go from there. I mean, if you are giving it to the pigs, you're giving it to your chickens or anything, you're still using it for the purpose. I just always feel like, would I eat it? Would we eat? But it's like, how much pumpkin could you possibly have? I've done like 3 batches of pumpkin now, and I have part of it in the freezer, but we're trying to get meat in the freezer too. So that makes it a little bit difficult because I don't want to put too much stuff in the freezer just to have to take it out later. So I don't know. I might try to like the ones that are squishy, because some of them are squishy and some of them are not squishy. I think maybe the squishy ones I'll just use as a dewormer for the animals, and then make some yummy things. I did see a gluten-free pumpkin bar recipe that looked good, and I still haven't made like a pumpkin pie. So I'd like to try to make a gluten-free pumpkin pie. And then I could always freeze a couple of those so I wouldn't have to make it for like Thanksgiving or anything like that. We could eat it like with a meal or after a meal or whatever. So maybe I'll just make it into things themselves. I'm not quite sure. But I'm glad to have gotten that butternut squash. I honestly still have a whole nother batch of butternut squash too that just isn't going rotten right now. So who knows about all that? Usually I've done this before. I can hold my pumpkins and my butternut squash all the way into spring, and I don't know what's going on this year. I don't know if it's because how our weather was outside, or because I laid seaweed down in cardboard, or I'm not really quite sure what happened, but it seems like these pumpkins just do not want to stay. The butternut squash is doing a bit better, but like the tops are getting funky. So I don't know. I think that I might plant a different variety of these are Connecticut field pumpkins. And the last year I did winter luxury pumpkins, and I've also done Jardale pumpkins, and both of those stored really well. So I'm wondering if it's maybe the variety that I'm doing. The butternut squash wasn't so bad because it was still usable. It's not like immediately going soft. And normally what I would do it's like a manageable rate, and I would just, eat it as we could or whatever. And we use quite a few of them. Like I think I did 5 in the soup for tonight. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts and your opinions on that, and I'll see you when I do the next part. Thanks. Hi guys, it's been a little crazy. I'm just gonna show you where we're at really quick. So I am trying this recipe for kimchi. I've never made kimchi before, so I'm not gonna leave any recipes or whatever below because I'm not gonna sure how it's gonna turn out. Although I do have the ingredients in here, and I have not added water. This is just the natural water from here. My 2-year-old was pressing it all down. So what I'll do is I'll have this here. I bought this fermenting kit a while ago, but it works a lot better with the correct size jars. So I think what I'm going to do is get a piece of maybe saran wrap and put it on top, and then I'll put some of these weights just surrounded on here like this all all the way around on that. So we have this done. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. It's like the end of the night trying to just figure things out. All right, so we're going to do that. And then we have these are going to be going in tomorrow into the canner first thing in the morning. And the pumpkins, I still have not decided on. I think that we're going to make up some recipes with certain pumpkin things in it. But that's all. I think what I'm going to have to do, because this video kind of got lost in the crazy of life, and so it took me a while to like get all the pieces back together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this a part 1 and then a part 2. So it will be what's today, and then tomorrow will be what we finish up tomorrow, and if we can get it all done tomorrow. So right now it is 6:45, and we have the canners going. Those have to go for 90 minutes for squash. So those will be going, I think, till like I want to say 8:15, something like that. I can't remember. They just kind of came up to time. And I have another gallon of the kimchi that I'm going to work on, and then I'll be done for the night. I'll cover these over with a cloth, and then we will can those tomorrow morning, and we will see you tomorrow.